And we are back. Yo, this is the Sports is My Love Language podcast. And I'm here with the
Yeah.
crew every Thursday, leading you into our Thursday night football games. Yo, look, man, we're here. We're back. Everybody had, we're so much to be thankful for. So we're all back from the holidays and all that stuff. I wanted to say, guys, I didn't get a chance to tell you this, but especially during Thanksgiving, I'm really grateful for all of you, for the consistency, for the attention to detail that you guys put in, and for the time that you put in, that you dedicate to this little venture that we got going on. So I just wanted to say that before we even start. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that, man. Appreciate your energy. So,
No doubt, man.
So we're at it again. We got our girl Jen Vega. We got Petey Pablo, Javito. We got my man Andre. And, yo, we're waiting on a kill. Okay, he should be coming on any minute now. But, we got some pretty cool topics, man. And I know for a fact the first topic is a very big there's like a big dividing line between the two. Just in our thread alone, in our group chat, I realized, oh shit, there's a lot of different people that think a lot of, that have different opinions on this one. So the first topic is that we're going to talk about, we're going to address is Bill the GOAT?
Yes.
Or is he not the GOAT? Is he Belicheat or is he Belichick? Is he part of the evil empire or is he the evil genius? Which one is it? And I know Jen has she's ready to go. So Jen, let us know. What are your thoughts on Bill Belichick? Is he the GOAT or is he not?
Okay, I'm going with Belicheat on this. And I know Javi, that Javi, wait, which way? That way, disagrees with me, and that's okay. But this is what I'm going with. Okay, so back in 2015, Outside the Lines, ESPN did an investigation. And they talked to 90 former coaches, players, staff members, owners, and this is what they discovered. Okay, so it all started back in 2000. Okay, Freeze was the backup quarterback, and they brought him into Belichick's office, and they said, listen, we taped the Bucs practice the other day. We focused on three things: the play, the signal, and the cheerleaders' boobs or butt. I'm not kidding. That was one of the three things for each play that they focused on. Anyway, they had, let me see, his name. I wrote it down because I want to get it right. They passed the tape off to Ernie Adams. Ernie Adams, who was a BFF of Belichick, still is, looks over the videotape, writes everything down, gives it to Freeze, and says, we need you to memorize this. Then you're going to go out there on the field, on the sidelines. You're going to watch the offensive coach for the other team, watch what the plays are, let our defensive coach know, and then he's going to tell the quarterback what play to use. Or no, he's going to tell the defense what plays to use. This was, and they start to call it the system. It didn't work the first game, but they perfected it, and they did it over and over and over again. So then in 2007, what happens? Spygate happens, okay? Before they even investigate anything, Goodell, who's the newly appointed commissioner, who is BFF with the Kraft family, decides, I'm going to fine Bill $500,000, fine the team $250, and we're just going to see how it goes. Fans around the country, uproar. They send investigators in, and they found 40 tapes, 40 team tapes in an office that was only accessible to Belichick and the assistant coaches. They also found notes for each tape. They called it the library. They instantly stomped the tapes on the spot, shredded the paperwork on the spot, but it's 2007, so they got backups. Come on. Now, I know every team cheats to some extent, but they have a system, okay? So how are they not using this every single game? You can't tell me that they're not. They also found out during this investigation that they were sending the peons, the little guys on the ladder, to the hotels to steal playbooks, into opposing team locker rooms to steal play sheets, which the other team started to get wise and threw fake play sheets out into the locker room. So they would steal fake play sheets. Peyton Manning came out Peyton Manning came out in 2015 and recently, as 2 months ago, saying he refused to talk about the game in the locker room before the game with the players or the coaches ever when he was in Foxborough. Because
we got comments. Yes, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's great.
Saying that he refused to say anything in the locker room because they knew that the locker rooms were bugged. Even Rex Ryan, when he was coaching for Buffalo, refused to leave trash in the stadium, in the locker room, because he was convinced that somebody would steal stuff from him. They've been cheating for 20 years. They have quality athletes. I'm not saying, like I said, it's not that nobody cheats at all, but when you're consistently doing it for 20 years and you've won 6 championships, not just because of the talent, but because you're cheating, you're always going to be a cheater. You're not doing it. He's not just succeeding because of his team talents and because he's a fantastic coach. So I'm going with Belicheat.
Belicheat.
Belicheat. I'm actually the one that gave Mike that name.
Belicheat. So, Pops, what are your thoughts?
I'm actually glad that Jen went through the whole rap sheet. I remembered a lot of it. I had forgotten a couple of it. To say doesn't matter to me. Because you're right, they did all that, and they may have had the most elaborate structure out of everyone that does cheat. And am I going to say that every team does it? No. Are there teams that do it in every sport? We know it happened in baseball, and we know it happens with a lot of teams in baseball. Some are more elaborate, some are just not good, whatever it is. And I say that because that it doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, even if they knew a good chunk of the plays that they may be running on offense and defense, I just think at the end of the day, their players still have to execute. The Patriots players still have to execute, even if they know what's coming. If the play gets changed, okay, well then what do you do? So did it help them win some games, things like that? Absolutely. I'm sure that they won some games, that maybe helped them get a better seed in the playoffs, because they were always like 1 or 2, right? Got a lot of those, first round buys. Sure. But at the end of the day,
what's a cheater? Only a cheater.
At the end of the day, once it came to the big game and the really big moments, they got it done. Brady made a great play. The defense made a great stop. The plays that they're calling, whatever it may be. And the result is the result. And the totality of the result is why this fantasy football GOAT thinks that Bill Belichick, is the GOAT in terms of coaches in the NFL. And it is what it is, because it's almost kind of a similar position that I kind of mentioned when we were talking about the PEDs. There's other people doing it. You know what I'm saying? So they were just very, good at it. We still need, I don't think there was a really full understanding of how much all that stuff that was laid out benefited in exactly what way. Like how many wins did that lead to? You know what I'm saying? And things like that. Doesn't change the fact that they did it. And yeah, I could call him Belicheat because it's true. But he's still one of the greatest coach of all time to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I take that into consideration, but at the end of the day, the results speak for what they are. And if they're still doing it today, I mean, he's doing, well, I don't know. I don't know if they're still doing it or not. Because if teams are weary of it.
They did it last year. They got caught last year.
Okay, but they sucked last year. So it is what it is, right? They were 7-9 last year. So they may have known things, but they didn't have the personnel to get it done anyway. So that's why I kind of I don't like say all the shit that they did is meaningless. No, it is meaningful. But at the end of the day, the success that he's achieved and continuing to achieve, obviously, is
It's so
a factor
funny,
for
right?
me.
Because I'm watching you guys talk, and I see the steam coming out of Javi's ears. He's ready to jump. He's ready to jump in. Like
so to me, he is the GOAT, even with all this other stuff. Because if I take the consideration that others have tried in the past, others are probably trying now. Again, successful or not is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that they're doing it, right? And even with some of that inside information that they may get, they still have to go out there and execute and take advantage of it.
You're right.
And they still lost. It's not like they went undefeated every year. So you can't, if they're doing it every game, well, then why aren't they winning every game? So I kind of balance it out, offset it each other, and just go with the result at the end of the day. And that's just how I view it. And he is the GOAT, in of NFL coaches. And I strongly have him up there in overall with other coaches in other sports as well.
Great. What are your thoughts?
Well, the GOAT, the acronym is the greatest, and it kind of doesn't really have anything to do with stats and that kind of stuff, because greatest is like a subjective type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The best is the best statistics and that type of stuff. So for me, he's the most successful NFL coach of all time. But my greatest coach, because I watched multiple documentaries and stuff on this man, was Vince Lombardi. For me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what he was able to do. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with how he ran his teams and stuff like that, but he was able to get the best out of his guys and still have his guys look up to him. Whereas I feel like if you ask a lot of players, obviously, when they're done playing for the Patriots, like, how good of a coach Belichick is as far as a player's coach. Like, he gets results, but, he has his ways. So I feel the greatest encompasses everything, which to me, like, he's the most successful, along with Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson got how many rings?
Yeah,
but is Phil Jackson the best basketball coach?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, true. You got a lot of talent.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So the most successful, in my eyes, justifies what he is. But to say he's the greatest, I see other coaching jobs. Is this only football? Or are we only dealing with football?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I guess we didn't really clarify that, but let's kind of like narrow it to football. Is he the greatest football coach of all time? Like, if he's the GOAT of football coaches, let's start there. We could always go into the debate later on in a different podcast about overall, but is he the GOAT football coach?
I wouldn't say he's the GOAT. I would just give him the most successful. I respect him, even with the cheating. I know about all of it. I respect all of that because I feel like in the NFL, you got to get to it or you're going to get left out. But he got caught. A lot of other coaches didn't, but to me, that doesn't really go a long way in the NFL because, as a lot of people said before, you still got to go out there and play. So even with the stats, you can still get your ass kicked. So.
Yeah. What do you got?
Just let me throw this. I'm just gonna say this. Bill Parcells has been to how many Super Bowls?
What, 2?
3.
3.
Defensive coordinator has always been
Bill Belichick.
The last one of the times the Jets made it to the AFC Championship game, who was the defensive coordinator?
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick takes the job, says no the next day, goes to the Patriots, and for 21 years, he's been dominating the AFC. I mean, I don't know what to say. All I know is that this guy has won everywhere. All right?
Not in Cleveland.
He went to the playoffs. He went to the playoffs. He went to the playoffs.
And it was early in his career.
And besides last year, the last time the Browns were in the playoffs, the head coach was named was Bill Belichick. All right, just remember that. All right. So NFL, greatest of all time. I don't care. I used to think Bill Parcells was, but now I'm really realizing how much of a factor Bill Belichick was to those teams. Now, I'm going to give it, he's been caught. I get that part. But goddamn, 20 years and you're doing it with no names. You know what I'm saying? With no names. So you're telling me that he's been cheating every single game? I don't know. Maybe. But you know what? He's got 6 rings because of it, and they're not taking it away from him.
Yeah,
You know?
because they're the golden goose of the NFL. They're not going to.
Well, you know, I don't think they're going to take it away from anybody, period. You know? So it's like one guy said, if you're not trying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? All right? And in a way, I get it. You know, I've heard of stories back, you know, at high school that there was a play. Mike Navarrete knows, my boy Mike, he played in a state championship game, and it said that Hackensack deliberately put 12 players on the freaking field to try and cheat and win the game, and they won the game. You know, so it's things like that. Now, do I go back and I say Greg Toll, a freaking legendary high school football coach, is not a GOAT, one of the GOATs of all GOATs, and basically in high school football coaching? I can't say no, because he's basically continued to keep winning it wherever he's gone. He made a perennial.
Is integrity a part of the GOAT?
I mean, if you want, can we talk about X and O's?
Of course, that's a part of it. But I'm just saying, is there one little envelope department for, you
integrity?
Yeah, like is there something there?
I'm going to address that, but I'm going to wait till my turn.
But I'm going to just go like this. I'm just there like, all right, so do I want somebody with integrity or do I want a Super Bowl? I want a Super Bowl. That's it.
I'll take the Super Bowl too, but I won't call him the greatest.
Well, if he only did it one time and he got and it was just one Super Bowl, then I would say you're right. Bro, he's won what? 8.
6 out of 9. 6 out of 9.
6 out of 9.
And as a defensive coordinator,
2.
Twice. So he's got 8. You know, and he's been to like 10 Super Bowls? No, maybe 11 now. 10.
11.
I got hundreds on every test I cheated on, except for Spanish, because the teacher caught on, so you had to give yourself a 94 or something.
Because
she would be like, Andre, no way.
So let me ask you this question, which I asked, I know on the chat. You know, if a smart man gets caught cheating, is he still not a smart man?
Yeah, but now it's in question how smart he is and how much help he had. That's all I'm saying. Okay. He's still a smart man. But now, like we said, the asterisk a couple weeks ago about somebody, I don't remember who it was, but somebody had an asterisk with their thing.
All right. Now
to me, he's the greatest with an asterisk.
Let me ask.
Sorry to keep cutting you off.
Let me ask Javi's question in the same way. Was Barry Bonds a Hall of Famer before he cheated? Yes.
Before
he cheated, then he cheated.
Yes.
Shouldn't he not still be a Hall of Famer? Like from a career.
We're talking about GOAT. Well, we're talking about a GOAT now.
But your question was in that context to the smart man.
Right.
Because Jay, you said, well, we have to check if he's still smart. So Barry Bonds, you still going to check if he was still good? No, you know.
I mean, but then the totality is in question, because then when did the cheating start?
Yeah, the totality is in question, but you don't question the individual's
success.
Talent.
Now, how about this one? What about this year? There's no Brady. Name me a star on the Patriots right now.
Judon.
Who?
Judon
Howard. Judon. All right. One guy out of 53.
True.
And they got home field advantage right now in the AFC.
This is definitely his best.
Doesn't this kind of remind you when Brady first just jumped onto the map? A no-name quarterback. All of a sudden, they just start winning games by running the ball, defense.
Yes, I agree. But is it possible that he's cheating right now?
Mm-hmm.
It's always possible.
Exactly.
I'm
done.
Yeah.
So
I'm done.
Possible everybody else is cheating too. The other teams are
cheating.
Man,
but he got caught, Pablo. When you got an MO in a courtroom, you get judged off of your history, my brother. Unfortunately, that's the way society works. That's the way the mind works. Oh, he stole 3 times before. He's accused of stealing again. He stole that shit. That's how the shit works, man.
And he gets caught because he gets sloppy because he's doing it so much.
But then I hear that Brady's the GOAT. But then the one year that they deflating footballs, You know what I'm saying? Are we just gonna throw that one away or what?
No, we're not.
No.
All right. And I always said this. That was Bill Belichick that said deflate the balls. I didn't say it was Tom Brady because the year before that, the Patriots were the team that fumbled the most. You deflate the ball, you gripped it a little bit more. Bill, that's why I'm saying he's still a smart man.
I'm down.
I'm
I
cheating.
agree, bro.
I'm a cheater.
I'm agree.
All right, guys, hold on. Let's hear Akil, what you got? What you got?
I'm with you, Javi.
Bill Belichick's the GOAT.
AK, where you at? We can't hear you.
Sorry, fellas.
All right.
So Javi stole my thunder a little bit. I was going to start with the fact that I don't want to deflate this conversation by talking about Belichick. I will say the greatest thing about Belichick is he literally, when he's with the press, he looks like a 35 to 45-year-old dude who lives at home with his parents talking to his mom. Like, you know what I mean? They'll ask him a question like, yes, mom, I did my laundry. You know what I mean? He has no time for it. He has no patience for it, and he almost looks.
That is my favorite part of him too.
He looks guilty because of it. I think he's an amazing coach. He's a hell of a coach. We all know that. He's really good at one thing that he's always been probably the best at is picking the other team's weaknesses and making sure that their strengths are not used against them. You know what I mean? Like he'll focus on what they do well, and then also understand where the weaknesses are and intertwine that. So really good that way. I can't get away from what Dre said though. Like, does integrity matter if I'm going to call you the greatest of all time? Yeah, you could be nasty at what you do. He's amazing. Does integrity matter for me to call you the greatest of all time? It does. It does a little bit, but there's no other coach that's really like. If you look at the top NFL coaches revered, you're talking Lombardi, you're talking Shula, you know, Seifert. There's coaches who have redefined offensive systems. You know, but
Walsh,
but consistent, you know, kind of
Walsh,
almost college football decades, 2 decades, you know, being able to do that. Nobody's been able to do that. So he's done that better than any other coach in the NFL has done it. But I also hesitate, and I get the competition aspect of it, but I do think there's some integrity to it. Like, and maybe, you know, we just know one and not the other, but there's still some integrity to it. So is he the best coach in football and NFL that's had continued success? Yes. Do I really?
Yes.
I'll call Pablo the fantasy guy. National team.
Let me just ask this a quick question. All right, integrity, whatever you want. If all your football coaches, whatever football team is you're a fan of, would you want him as your head coach?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
But look, Usain Bolt, my favorite sprinter of all time. You know what I always did? I always did extra investigation to see if they were covering anything up because of the amount of money they would lose if they exposed that he was cheating. But there was nothing ever there. But if I was to ever find out that it was something there, I wouldn't hold him in the same light. He would still be fast as hell, but I wouldn't hold him as
Carl Lewis.
Carl Lewis would have to still be it because they never got Carl Lewis on cheating, man. Carl Lewis was skinny. He worked hard and he ran. He ran against a cheater from Canada, Ben Johnson. He ran against a cheater from England, Linford Christie. Like they kept bringing them cheaters, man. And you know it's cool, but it's not.
Our culture is all about results. You
right.
Be completely flawed, but if you bring the results, they look past it.
Hey.
What you got, Mike?
I'm going to say it like this, man. I'm torn because when I first walked into this conversation, right, I was like, Belicheat. Right? And then I started like with the, so there's a couple different, I'm going to take a couple different angles. I want to know what you guys think. Okay. So we really got to set the criteria, right? Let's set the criteria on what exactly is the GOAT. Some people want to add integrity. Some people say, you know what, winning is what's important. To me, one of the things that he lacks to make him the GOAT, one of the things is his lineage. His tree is trash. His coaching tree is trash. He has nobody underneath him that has been successful. To me, the mark of a great leader, the mark of a GOAT, is somebody who not only leads from the top, But then
Saban.
Yeah, then all of a sudden, everybody who goes down below him is also successful. You know what I mean? And that way, like in that case, like a Bill Walsh. A Bill Walsh's tree is insane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can literally
Parcells as well. Parcells too.
Parcells is insane. Now I say that,
is from the Parcells tree.
I'll say this. I believe that and again, this is speculation. I don't know for a fact, but you know me, I'm one of these guys. I believe everybody in the NFL cheats. And then I start to argue. No, then I start to argue. Yo, maybe he is the GOAT. Because not only is the GOAT of winning, but out of all the cheaters, he's also the best cheater.
He's the best, yeah. Shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm really torn. It's like, if we established the criteria, you guys made a great point. Yeah, if we had integrity, we kind of want to say, it's kind of hard to give him that. But then if I take my way of looking at it, I'm going to flat out say, I'm going to be like, hey, listen, not only does he have the Super Bowls, he has them as assistants. What do you call it? But now, not only because again, man, this cheating thing, you're gonna tell me I'm part of a multi-billion-dollar company, right? And I'm not gonna do everything it takes to get the upper hand. We're really dealing on the fact that he got caught. He got caught. But why did he get caught? He got caught because when somebody's that good at something, all the other guys that were cheating, looking at each other like, damn, it's like, okay, I always say The Rock. The Rock is on all the steroids.
Right.
Everything. You name it. He's on it. That one too. Yeah, he's on that one too. Right? But if I took everything The Rock took, I would never look like The Rock. Right? So what do I do? I call him out. He takes steroids. Right? Same thing with these NFL players, these NFL coaches. They could do everything Bill does. They could cheat exactly to the T the way Bill cheats, and they would still not win the number of Super Bowls or the number of games that Bill wins. Now check this out. Proof was this Monday night. This Monday night was proof. Bro, their quarterback threw 3 passes. They ran the ball. This guy was like this on the sideline, testing the wind. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. Look, the other coach on the other sideline had his quarterback throw 30 times. You know what I mean? You cannot, that right there, that move, what I saw right then and there, Monday night, said to me, you know what? I'm going to have to side with the fact that he is the GOAT. That is some genius shit. What he did on Monday night, bro.
And let me bring this out, bro, man. You know what? It was your damn Jet heads coach that brought it out to light because he got pissed. Eric Mangini was like, yo, this guy's a cheater. While he was a coordinator on that team.
Right.
That's the only reason why anything came out to light, bro.
Hold on. We got some comments. Let's go to the comments real quick. We got a couple coming down. Let me see. Let me scroll up here. I'm gonna go all the way back. Give me a second, guys. Victor Jaramillo, Belicheat, and once a cheater, always a cheater. Hey, don't tell that to my girlfriend. Hold on. I wish my team knew how to cheat.
Right.
He's the GOAT because he does more with less. Yeah, we was pretty much established that. He has basically 1 star right now. Uncle Vince.
Right.
But is he the best cheater? He's the only guy that readily got caught. Yeah, we basically said you're right. He did get caught. That's the thing about it. That's kind of like the game changer in the argument. Like whenever you make that argument to go and you make all these great points, all somebody has to say is,
but he didn't get caught because he fucked up. He didn't get caught because what he was doing messed up. The plan didn't go the way it was. Somebody else had to come from outside. Like Mangini was mad.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
and then someone else.
Last year they got caught because they got sloppy.
Right.
That's why they got caught. They got sloppy.
They get sloppy.
One out of how many?
I got one quick nugget on my greatest coach of all time. This guy allowed his black player. The guy's name was Dave Robinson. He was coach noticed, Vince Lombardi noticed he wasn't playing the way he could play and pulled him in the office, asked him what was going on, explained to the coach, yo, my fiance is white. We're having problems finding a pastor to marry us. This is in 1962. Lombardi paid for the whole shit, got a pastor he trusted to get his black player married to his white fiance at the time.
See,
That's awesome.
this is like
That
the
is
boxing.
awesome.
This is when you do that, right? It becomes like the boxing argument.
I know, right? So let's look up if Bill Belichick's ever donated money to charity. Now offset.
He
with
don't
that.
do shit,
so
man.
It's like, so it's
That's
like,
not
wait,
donating.
we gotta
Pablo, that's
do
not
something. Hold on.
donating to
Hold the
charity.
thought. Hold the thought.
That's
Hold that
moving
thought.
race. That's moving race stuff forward in the 50s and
he
60s.
taught his dog how to make draft picks. We all saw it on TV.
Hold on.
Nah,
hold on.
that's
We
not
got
the
the
same, bro.
comment. Everyone cheats. He's under a magnifying glass because of his success. Remember, Deflategate came to be because the Ravens were upset for them getting away with an illegal formation against them the week prior. He's a genius in a class of his own. That's
No excuses, man. He cheats. Is he really a genius, though? I could go all day. You can say that, and I can say what I can say, and we
that's
both
why
are
we're
right.
debating it. That's exactly why
That's
we're talking
it.
about it.
Yeah. So like,
Because
And
it's
it,
such
and
a
it,
polarizing.
and it will remain debatable.
It's
right,
such a
it's
polarizing.
it's not even debatable, right? Because that's in your formula, right, Drake, for your final definition of GOAT, right? And you use the Lombardi example as why he's in your eyes the GOAT, right? Because it went outside of football, right? And
Right.
that's your formula. I'm not going to argue your formula. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I
But
don't.
greatest.
I could care less about what they're doing off the football field because to me it doesn't add into the formula of what are you doing about football. We're asking about his coaching in
The thing
football.
is,
Now, is Lombardi probably a better person? Maybe, I guess. You know, they were both tough coaches, right? You know what I'm saying? But you're right. You know, that's a great thing Lombardi did. But outside the field, off the field, to me, doesn't add into the formula of greatest of all
Lumpy
time.
says the guy only owns cutoff sweatshirts. He doesn't even use his money on improving his wardrobe. Yeah, that's the crazy part about it right there. Holy shit. What do you call it? Yo, look, this is why it's such a polarizing. It's like this and is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer are like the two things that I swear to God, whenever we mention them, yo, people talk about that like it goes like 100 deep in the thread. So I guess we're not going to come up with an answer. Hopefully people keep commenting and letting us know.
I gave you an
Bill
answer.
Belichick the GOAT? Or is he a
GOAT. GOAT by what definition? What's
And
the
that's the other
definition
thing.
of great?
It's like with boxing. It's like with boxing, right?
He doesn't suck.
Muhammad Ali is the greatest, right? Is the greatest. But then if you want to talk about a technical boxer, Muhammad Ali did a lot of shit wrong and a lot of shit bad that he got away with because of his athleticism. So is he the greatest boxer? You're like, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, you would mostly say he's the greatest.
We know adjectives. I know a lot of adjectives. We could say he's the best, most successful, most skillful. It's a bunch of different ways we could use to define them without saying greatest. Because greatest, when you look at the definition of great, it has nothing to do with just statistics. If you look right now at the definition of great, it's not a finite definition. It's a subjective definition.
There's a picture, but there's a picture of Bill Belichick next to great, bro. What are you talking
And
about?
only in the Columbian dictionary.
Hey, can I give a hockey shout out to Scotty Bowman?
Who?
Detroit.
The most wins in the regular season ever, the most playoff wins in 9 chips with 3 different franchises over a couple decades.
We're definitely going to have to go back to that. That's definitely something
we
we
have
have
it
to
on our
address.
list. We have
What about the coach? What about the coach of the hockey team, the Miracle, that went to the Olympics with a bunch of college guys and beat USSR and other teams that were juicing? What about him being the greatest of all time?
Herbie Hancock.
Yeah,
Herbie what?
Herbie Brooks.
That job that he did, that specific job.
No, he did a fantastic job, but you can't say his body of work is that was one of those that was just one of those
one
years
of the lifetime type things.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you call it? I'm gonna let who took the lead on the quarterback topic because I wasn't there, so I want you guys whoever took the lead on it to kind of give a little
your topic, right, Dre?
Yeah, but Pablo, you know what I'm saying? Drive the bus, bro.
Go ahead, Bob.
So the next topic that we were talking about in a pre-production meeting is that was brought up, which is a very, very good conversation.
The Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Given the current crop of young QBs in the NFL that rookies now, from the past couple of years that we have out there, because there's only a few old timers left, right? Ben, well, he's pretty much done, right? Brady, Rodgers, the older quarterbacks, right? Even Russell, he's not old, but he's in that next level right after these guys. Matt Ryan, but then there's a bunch of young QBs out there, right? Coming up. So the question is will these crop of QBs, be as great or greater in the next 20 years versus the crop of quarterbacks that have been in the NFL the last 20 years? What do you
can I go first? Only because I wasn't.
They'll live up to it, depending on what each of our expectations of what does living up to it mean. What defines a success, Super Bowl wins, record, stats, blah 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 blah. Let
me take the lead on this. I'm gonna say this. Yes, only because of one thing. The sheer number of exceptional quarterbacks right now is greater than at any point in the last couple of decades. Go back to the 80s. Can you give me 10 to 12 quarterbacks that you would call exceptional? And let's define exceptional. I wouldn't say exceptional, but let's say very, very good. Like a Dak Prescott, despite what you might feel about him, I think he's very, very good, right? And I would put him towards the back end of that list. You know what I mean? And I feel like right now, more than any time in the NFL, there's just an abundance of talent, a group of guys. You know what I mean? And then you start to add the Herbert, the Burrow. You know what I'm saying? You have your what do you call it? This guy I just talked about. You have your Jackson, Mahomes. You have all these guys. Yo, we're talking almost 10 deep. When was the last time that when you talked about exceptional quarterbacks, you went 10 deep? So just on the numbers alone, let's say 4 of them turn out to be Hall of Famers. And it's possible. It's very much possible. 4 of them end up being Hall of Famers. All right? That's as good a draft class. That's as good a section of quarterbacks. We're talking about 80s. That's as good a block of quarterbacks as in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, a lot of people.
So to me, the numbers alone,
the numbers alone will say. Class, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Remember, it was the class of Marino and O'Brien and this and that. And then later on, there was the Breeze class, and these guys that bunched up. And you look back and you're like, dude, there's a possibility just on numbers alone. Again, and I'm going to pose the question: when was the last time that there was this number of exceptional quarterbacks? I don't know. So that's my answer on the entire thing. I'd say yes, it will. It is going to have to live up, because I doubt 4 are going to fall off the map. I think 4 of them are going to already Mahomes. I know people feel polarizing about Jackson, but he already has an MVP. We see what Josh Allen's potential is. You know what I'm saying? We got Dak Prescott. And again, I put him at the lower end because he has a lot of talent and just doesn't seem to get over the hump. But he's exceptional. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on the topic. Go ahead, guys.
Go ahead, Jen.
I agree. But I don't want to say that because you have to remember, you're going to have a lot of up and comers too. Like when we talked last night in pre-production, and we talked about the young Manning that's going to be coming up.
Manning,
yeah. But otherwise, the quarterback class that's up and coming this year is kind of. I'm sorry, Bill, but the QB class that's up and coming is not very good. I'm sorry, Bill. I apologize.
I think that look was after a win too.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Bill.
after a win.
So for the current young guns that are in, they're going to do amazing things, and you're always going to have better players every 10 to 20 years that are going to top your previous players, no matter what the sport is. But it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of college in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Because that's going to really be the judge of how the next 20 years is going to go. And that's all I got.
Go ahead, Pops. You want to go into it, or you want to pass it?
No. Go ahead. I'll go.
Dive in, Pablo.
So I was trying to, in my head, formulate what is my criteria to define whether a class is going to be greater than what we've seen, in the past 20 years or so, right? And I'm sitting there like, okay, so who do they have to outshine the last 20 years? Well, number one is Brady, and he's still going.
Brady.
He's still winning championships. Then we had Rodgers, and we had Breeze, and we still have Big Ben, who's going to be, done
Retiring
after this
probably.
year. But he's got a couple of Super Bowl wins, and prior to his, his arm thing falling off and the injury starting, I mean, he was considered one of the
Big
best.
Ben was clutch, man.
We had
Big
Phillip
Ben was
Rivers
clutch.
from a statistical and just a consistency perspective. As a Giants fan,
Antonio Gates, baby.
Peyton Manning is obviously in there. Eli is in there. In that list. In the middle to down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, a.k.a.
He's not in the best quarterbacks of his generation list.
Donovan's not in there, bro.
It's not in there, sorry. But so I'm looking at those QBs, right? And then there's like an overlap. There's kind of like an overlap, right? Of guys that are in the league now, that are good in their own ways. Matt Ryan has had success, right?
He did.
Derek Carr has been a good quarterback, because he's second or third in yards per game this year, right? In the NFL. So there's an overlap there, right? Russell Wilson came in and he's still got years left. He's only 33, right? So does he count within the next 20?
Right.
Or do we count him this way, right? So there's an overlap.
Right.
So where's my starting point right now?
Ooh, wait. We have a comment. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm sorry. But I think this comment's gonna really Lumpy says, do you think a lot of that has to do with the way the game has changed to cater to quarterbacks?
I'm actually going to touch on that. That's into my thing. So I'm trying to establish my starting point right from there. So do I go back to what Baker Mayfield a few years ago, like 3 years ago, right? High profile, decent quarterback, or do I just start with Herbert last year and Burrow last year and go forward with and Lamar and Patrick Mahomes and go from there?
I think go about 4 years back.
Yeah, go 4 years back because
so then we start with Mahomes. Then you start with Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Because out of the current young crop, he's the first one that came out and just let out the gate, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the guys from last year, and then we've got the rookies from this year. So now starting point, talent. I think from a talent perspective, just sheer talent, the young crop is going to total much better talent. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers is probably the most talented of that previous crop, talent-wise, right?
Yeah.
Then success. Some of these young talented QBs are not going to be successful from a win-loss perspective.
No.
Even from their own individual stats. You know what I'm saying? QBR and all that other fact. But I think from a sheer talent perspective, they're going to be better. And what put it over the top for me is Lumbo's point. The way the offenses are tailored right now, these guys have better ability and freedom based on the rules of the NFL to showcase those passing talents. Whereas the guys in the past, still, while it may not have been the 70s and 80s where you're getting clotheslined, and that's a simple play, it wasn't as wide open from an offensive perspective. The running game was still king, even within the last 20 years. And that's you built your offense starting with the run game, with some exceptions. So that's why I think they will better be talented and probably surpass
as a group. Yeah.
I think he got
overall. Do I think that those guys will be greater? Like we get into this GOAT type of conversation. than some of these guys, I don't know. Even though there's more young talent now overall from a totality, I can't see.
I think you're hitting on something really important, Pablo. You're hitting on something really important. That's where it becomes very subjective. It becomes can't really that conversation right there where it's like who's going to be better. That's why I think we need to keep it as a group, as a whole, as numbers. That kind of makes more sense.
I think in general as a group they will because of sheer individual talent. They're more mobile, which adds to the excitement of the game. And like I said, and to Lumbo's comment back is the rules will allow them to showcase their talent a lot more than some of the guys in the past that were just sitting in the pocket and just flinging the ball. So that's kind of how I see it. I think, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to outshine them by a lot either. I don't think it's like an overwhelming, you know, greater future 20 than the last 20.
Not here. Dre, what you got?
Well, I like this topic a lot. I think that the next 20. Just because it's something that you could go either. It's something that you have a valid argument on either side, you know, because and the reason is because what you have now for these guys is what we can project and what they started showing us so far. So like growth curves and stuff like that, what we could project for Justin Herbert after like 5-6 years, and like certain things that we could project when Lamar starts getting a little better and like other stuff. But then what if he doesn't? What if he Mike Vicks? You know, so it's like it to me, it's like I think I would say more of the quarterback situation in the NFL is in good hands as far as a trajectory.
Of course. We got Daniel
to
Jones.
mirror. Exactly, bro.
He said we got Daniel Jones.
To mirror. Now, some of the stuff you're trying to mirror is the almost perfection of Peyton Manning and the Tom Brady ripping you apart any mistake you make, any time you show your defense what you're gonna do before time and stuff like that. Like that's what you have to try to catch up to and to compete with. So it's not like I can say, yeah, man, these guys got it in the bag for the next 20 years. Because some of the stuff that's been done in the past 20 years, when Mike Vick first started running, like Randall Cunningham and Cordell Stewart used to run a little bit. But when Mike Vick started running with that ball, he set the NFL on fire, bro. They didn't know what to do. Madden had him at 99. Like, they didn't know what to do, Javi. Remember?
I remember.
It was crazy. And
04.
then...
That was at 04, because that's the last time I played Madden. 04.
Right. And then after that, they started scheming for him. And then all of a sudden, he starts being exposed. He's not that good of a thrower and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Right.
He gets hit a lot.
And since then, there's been attempts. RG3. I'll even say Vince Young. God forgive me. There's been attempts at you know, even Cam Newton, bigger than Mike Vick, but it's like the same idea, you know. And to me, like the excitement, nobody has created that same excitement of Mike Vick until Lamar now. But then Lamar comes with his flaws as well. Mahomes, but not the escapability. He's not that fast. Yeah, Mahomes got the excitement for sure. The sidearm and the weird stuff that he does. Like,
well, I think Mahomes kind of recreated a little bit of what Manning did after Manning's rookie year, where he was a bad year, but then Manning just started shredding everybody. And that's when Mahomes is, as at least for the first couple of years, just shredding everybody any way he wanted it.
The difference between Manning and Mahomes was a cerebral assassin, right? Where Mahomes is cerebral, but he mixes it with a lot of athleticism because he makes those throws from weird angles. He kind of does stuff, you know what I mean, that most quarterbacks can't, you know?
He's more improvisational. Yeah.
Yeah. Javi, what you got? What's your word?
Let me just also include Russell Wilson in that running because
man. Sorry about that.
That guy's good, bro. And honestly, talking about it real quick, I don't really want him on the Giants just because of the contract, but I want him on the Giants because Daniel Jones sucks. But anyways,
we got to get Daniel Jones out of there.
Nah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, what do I see going forward? I think, like you guys said, the league's in good hands. You know, if we're gonna go back to the '80s, though, Mike, it's just not fair, man. Different rules, man.
It's not. You're right.
It's not. Right.
No, we're only going back about 20. We're not going back.
Like that's why I'm just there. Like, you know, you can't. you can never go back so far because they never got protected as they are getting protected
Yeah,
right
I
now.
think Marino had what Marino has? Was it 3,000? He was the first one to hit like 3,000 yards, and now average quarterbacks say 3,000 yards. So,
Right.
yeah, the
Average
game has
season
changed.
is 4,000 yards now. You
Oh,
know what I'm
4,000, yeah.
saying?
Except
So,
Daniel
like,
Jones.
Well,
2,500.
anyways, so let's take like you said, like Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? I think we got a better version of Mike Vick, to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying?
And Lamar.
And Lamar. But I also feel like when you have these great athletes like that, that sometimes the offensive schemes don't try
They
to
rely too much on them.
Yeah, they don't progress them enough to be a better passer at times, I feel. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that's what happened with Mike Vick. But then when Mike Vick went to the Eagles and Andy Reid took him, he looked great.
He did.
He looked great.
He did.
looked great that season, man.
Definitely did.
Why couldn't we see that other years? But anyways, going forward, I think Justin Herbert's going to be really good. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like telling. I want to say that, but I still feel he still looks like Kirk Cousins to me right now. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't know. Well, that's fighting with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, because look, man, I'm looking at Kirk Cousins. He's always got great statistics.
Yeah,
always.
But he doesn't win the big games.
But doesn't win big games. So until I see Justin Herbert win big games, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to label him as a Kirk Cousins. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing because he's going to be able to sling that rock, right? Now, what happens when he doesn't have a Keenan Allen or a Mike Williams? That's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? How good of a quarterback is he really going to be?
It's going to happen this week against our Giants, and I bet you he'll shred them.
Well, you know what, bro? I don't know if he's going to shred them. Because the Giants' defense isn't that bad.
No, I'm just being facetious.
And they're the type of team that just puts everything in front of them anyways. They don't give up the long balls.
Yeah. Yo, we forgot to add one person. We forgot to add one quarterback. Gardner Minshew, baby. Minshew mania.
Yo, that's your new guy right there, baby.
I know Ak is gonna say, the hell with Jalen Hurts. It's all Minshew mania now, baby. You know what?
Check this out, right?
I'm over.
Yo, if somebody said, paint a picture of Philadelphia, I swear to God, it would be a picture of Gardner Minshew right next to it. It would be a picture of Gardner Minshew, bro. That guy looks so Philly, like lunch pail type of dude. I swear to God, I was like, when he was bugging out with his dad, oh, forget it. AK, what are your thoughts?
He's blue collar. I mean, you want to take a picture of Philly. You have Gardner Minshew, you have Meek Mill, put them next to each other, and you get a picture of Philadelphia. I actually, before I even start, I think Herbert is a fascinating topic, and I kind of agree with Javi, but like I think that people are giving him too much credit too early. Now, I don't think he's Kirk Cousins because I think he came out of college with much better tools. I think he just has more physical strength. He has more. He definitely has more skills coming out of college than Cousins did. But I agree. Like I think we're projecting, and he could end up just being a pretty decent quarterback. I don't know that we know that he's going to be the most amazing quarterback of even his generation. So we have to go back to about 4 or 5 years. You're talking about obviously Patrick Mahomes. I know nobody wants to touch Deshaun Watson, but I'll massage the topic. I think you got to include him also. He's back on the field. Josh Allen, but I'm going to take this in a different way, guys. You know what I think also changes? It's obvious that they throw more now. The numbers are going to be inflated. I think free agency changes how you can look at this generation to how you can look at the last monster generation of quarterbacks, where you had Joe Montana, Dan Marino, like the fifth, sixth best quarterbacks were Jim Kelly, after John Elway and Bernie Kosar, Boomer Esiason, like guys who were legit stud quarterbacks, but they also had to deal with the teams that they were on. And all of them made the playoffs, and all of them would win a game or two. No matter what, no matter how bad their GM was, no matter what kind of talent they had, they couldn't just sign another player that way. So that's why I think that in that generation specifically, they were better than this generation. And I don't know what this generation is because right before this, you have Brady, you have Manning, you have Wilson, you have Rodgers, like Breeze. You guys named just 5 first ballot Hall of Famers.
Phillip Rivers.
That's pretty. Phillip Rivers.
That's pretty impressive. You're right.
Not for nothing. you can also intertwine that, though, because before that second group of guys came, I'll say there was a time where legit Brady and Manning were 1 and 2, but for 3 or 4 years, it was McNabb and Culpepper battling for 3 and 4. You know what I mean? Like they're not career level Rodgers, Brady, or Russell Wilson. So
I disagree with McNabb because Favre was still in there.
Favre.
And to go back to your point about, you know, the punishment they take, that guy played X amount of games in a row.
He was an Iron Man.
That's pretty legit. They had to play real football. They still play real football. It was just different style. But
yeah, you're right. You know, that you guys made a good argument on that one. Yeah, it definitely is a different style of football, less protected, and these guys were, they did a lot more with less. These guys, I remember freaking Boomer Esiason's Bengals had to pay for their own vending machine stuff. They didn't get. They had to pay for their jock straps.
For Gardner Minshew, real quick. I think you guys, I'd love for you to think about this. Check this out. What we have is probably the 2 best backup quarterbacks in football.
Yes. Fucking bingo. Right? Holy shit, bro.
You'd love to have either of those guys as your backup.
Yes. Wow, that's so fucking well said. Absolutely, bro. Oh my God. Yes, that's it. Hold on, wait. We got Uzi G in the comments.
Of course.
He said, Herbert just won on the road at Cincy as the underdog, but he's Cousins. LOL. Okay, hold on a second. He's number 2, Sean. Javier Baker. LOL. 218 passes. Lit him. I don't know what that meant. 218 passes.
Baker.
Oh, for Baker.
He's your guy. Of course, he's your guy.
Herbert is my guy.
He's Sunshine from Remember the Titans.
Yo, with the long hair, right? All right, so we're gonna roll into the last part of one of the last parts of our show, and let's do our stock up, stock down. Right? So.
Oh shit! That's right. Sorry, I gotta read that. Effort just wrote Baker Mayfield is just a sober Manziel.
Oh shit,
Johnny. Oh Johnny.
Yeah, right. All right, so I'll start with stock up, stock down. Stock up. Detroit Lions. Not because they just won. Not because they just won one game. Everything I've been reading, so I did a deep dive into the Detroit Lions. Like, yo, how is this team so bad? You know, like what the hell's going on? So I go and I go down the YouTube rabbit hole, anything I can read about, everything I read about the Detroit Lions, right, says that they are forming a solid foundation and that those players are still playing hard for him. And when you break down the losses, a lot of them are like one, they were late in the game and they were down by 1 score. But on top of that, what they were talking about is the Lions have 0 talent. They have Swift at running back. They have the tight end.
Hawkinson.
Goff is below average. And that's all. So for them to even be competitive speaks to how good the coach is actually, that foundation that the coach is building.
Let me say something, though.
Yeah.
If Bill Belichick had that team, would they have more wins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, so my stock down is the Heisman Trophy. Yo, I've never seen a trashier group. And look, I'm not saying trashier as in they're not good players. They're great players, right? But I think they decided and they said, we got to give it to somebody.
That's what it seems like this year, though, man.
And Bryce Young is good. Because I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Nobody stuck out.
The defensive end from Michigan has 13 sacks. He leads the nation in 2 categories. Okay? One is sacks, which is a primary category. I give him that. But number 31 from Alabama is by far, right, the best defensive player in the country. The stats don't even come close at that position. And he's not even in the running. We have Walker from Michigan State. Right? He did that team you knew exactly what they were going to do. They were going to give him the ball. It didn't matter. There was no passing attack. There's not a quarterback to talk about. The offensive line is good, but that was all Walker. And even in the bad games, don't get me wrong, he got shut down against Ohio State, but a lot of teams did. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So to me, he should have been in the conversation. And I feel like they're at this point, they're like, well, we'll just give it to Bryce Young. Freshman out of Alabama. Okay, whatever. So to me, the whole thing right now, stock down for the Heisman Trophy. Not that it ever really represented anything other than a prestigious college trophy, but stock down with the Heisman. I don't like the way they're coming with that. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, so my stock up is I'm actually going local on this. I'm going with the GHSA Girls Flag Football League, which was started 3 years ago with the Arthur Blank Foundation donation to Gwinnett County, which is actually right next door to where I live. They started with 19
fun fact
teams.
about Gwinnett County. Gwinnett County. Gwinnett County right now has the most Division I football players in the entire country. Go ahead.
Okay. So they started with 19 teams. 3 years later and a pandemic later, they're up to 189 teams around the state. They held the championships today. The Division I team, Southeast Bullock High School. This was their first year of flag football. It's their first state championship in 20 years for any girls sport. So my stock up is the Flag Football League, because we are one of 5 states in the nation that have a sanctioned Flag Football League. Stock down. I'm going with the College Bowl Championship Selection Committee. Sorry, because I'm sorry, but they made these selections because they want Georgia and Alabama to go head to head again. It's all about the SEC because the SEC
You're talking about the rankings, right? The rankings.
Yes.
I thought the same shit.
Yes. I personally, Michigan 1, Alabama 2, Cincinnati 3, and Georgia 4. Have Michigan go against Georgia, have Alabama go against Cincy, and then see where it goes from there. Get one of the SEC teams eliminated right off the bat.
Yeah, we're learning the hard way now that the SEC is a monopoly. It's a mafia.
Yep. So those are my 2.
Bobs, what you got?
Really simple. Stock up Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney's agents. So I didn't know, based on, especially with, the recent college, the big time, college football hires with Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley and stuff like that. And even the coach from Michigan State. That even down there, and that's cool. So, I was like, I had heard someone mention it today that Nick Saban has a clause in his contract that will be required to increase his total guaranteed compensation, and if it becomes if it becomes less than the average of either the 3 highest paid SEC, or it can't be less than the average of either the 3 highest SEC coaches or the 5 highest FBS coaches. So his agent is just like, dude, my job's done, bro. Negotiate this one time, and you're good going forward. And then with Dabo, his is, his has to gets reviewed annually, and
I got one better. Urban Meyer gets to have young chicks sit on his lap.
Well, anybody can get it. No, I'm just kidding. But his is if his contract fails to remain competitive with the biggest deals in college football, then his buyout clause gets waived. So if he decides to, if it's not in that level and he wants to leave, then whatever school wants to go to doesn't want to have to pay that buyout. So it's pretty sweet, man. Those agents, both those coaches, just dude, get it right the first time, man. That's it. You're good. You're gonna get money every year. Especially as these other schools, we start seeing merges and stuff like that. Schools are gonna pay for coaches, whether they're worth it or not.
That's smart, bro.
And now Saban's salary is like $9.9 million coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Dre, you have a hot take, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay, hold on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go Javi, a.k.a, and we'll come back and close the show out right before we do our picks with your hot take. All right?
Really quick, my stock down, Zion Williamson. Bro, you're supposed to be rehabbing getting ready to play, and you balloon to 3:30. Like,
yo, didn't he sign up for the hot dog shit to challenge the guy?
who knew? I think there's no more. I don't think. They're gonna run out of beignets in freaking New Orleans, bro. Red beans and rice, bro. It's gonna be shortage. But like, what is he doing?
Gumbo.
Like,
nah,
sorry,
real
bro.
talk.
You gotta be
real
better. You gotta be
talk,
better,
right.
man. You
gotta be better. Somebody around you gotta be talking to you. Yeah.
So that's it. That's really it for me. Go ahead, Javi.
Stop down, wait up.
All right, Javi, why don't we go with you and then we'll go back to her.
All right, man. Stock up Bill Belichick. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, man, he's trending upward.
Always,
he's
man.
trending up.
Anyway, stock up Cleveland Cavaliers. They hold the 6th seed right now. They're a winning team, and I have no idea who's on that team, to tell you the truth. I just looked at it. I was like,
Darius Harlan, rookie, really good player.
That. Understood, but like,
he's not a rookie, Dre.
Second year?
Second or third year, yeah.
Okay, he's really good young player though.
He missed his last year of college too. With an
Chetty Osman, they got a nice young team, man. No egos.
All right, cool, good for them. And the Washington football team, they're just making things interesting right now.
Heineken.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, they're just making things interesting right now. They're not supposed to be where they are right now. They lost Chase Young for the year. The Heineken guy is, and they're basically right there in the hunt. So, you got to give it up to them. Stock up, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
True.
Stock down. The Ravens coaching staff. I don't know what the hell's wrong with them lately. You know what I'm saying? That Miami Dolphins game, no adjustments whatsoever offensively. Now Jim Harbaugh decides, or is it John Harbaugh decides to basically go for it, go for 2, instead of taking overtime. His excuse
was whack.
Yeah, that excuse wasn't legitimate to me. Oh, my quarterbacks are out of the game. Man, you don't know if you're going to get the ball in the second half and score a touchdown, and that's it. Game over. So you're telling me, like, I don't know, man. I'm down on them. Stock down. And I know I had this guy stock up last week, but I'm going to give him stock down this week. Tom Thibodeau. I don't know what the hell's up with this guy. That's just Kemba Walker. All of a sudden, they're sucking now. And I'm just there like, put Kemba back in. Even off the bench.
He wants him back now.
Yeah, but like, I didn't know he was going to be like straight out of the rotation right now. Like, he doesn't play. I thought he was going to come off the bench. He doesn't even do that. So I'm just there like, I don't even know what's going on. Tom Thibodeau, stock down on you right now, man.
Hey, Kay, what you got? Hey, Kay, what you got?
I thought about this. First, I'll do a quick hot take. I think that I actually believe the Knicks are going to potentially – now, they're going to have a worse record this year than they had last year, which I did not believe that to be the case at the beginning of the season. But I also think that's a fact that they didn't get much better, but at the same time, there's some other teams that probably did, more competitive. Anyway, we'll move on from there. Stock up. I think right now you have a pretty exciting college football playoff. You have Cincinnati that has not been there. Small team, Georgia versus Michigan. Michigan's a powerhouse that hasn't been there in a while. Alabama always make things interesting. Georgia's finally actually cutting back in there. So I think that, college football right now is in a good place. It's going to continue to be in a good place. I'm not a fan of the coaches moving so much, but it is what it is. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. But I just think in general, the product is actually pretty good right now. Stock down is Mother Nature. The weather is just crappy.
I love this guy.
You're hiding from the weather. You go outside, you're still out there. I'll come back. It's crappy.
The weather looks fine over here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Easy, Pablo. Easy, man. I've seen Javi taking photo shoot pictures in the parking lot at the game the other day with a bunch of bodyguard guys, 250 and.
Hey, I'll be real though, the Philadelphia Flyers have lost 10 games in a row. We fired our coach 3 days ago after losing 7-1. It's comical. We haven't won a championship in 47 years. The stock down is the Philadelphia Flyers, my friends.
Philadelphia Flyers.
It
Holy
pains me a
shit.
lot to say that. I want to say one thing too is Rutgers plays Seton Hall in basketball this weekend. For all the Jersey basketball heads, that should be.
I'm all Big
That's a
East,
great
baby.
game. That's a
I'm
good
all
one.
Big East.
Nice.
Old school Big East, man. I used to love
Old
that.
school Big East, yeah.
Scarlet Knights, Pirates.
Take it away, Dre.
Dre, what's your hot take? Dre,
All
hot
right,
take.
so
Yeah.
my hot take is sorry, I couldn't hear you guys.
No, it's good, guys.
My hot take is I feel like if the Lakers do not make the playoffs this season, LeBron James is done.
Mm.
Not because he can't play anymore, because Grant Hill and certain other guys, you really, really ask them, they'll tell you they still think they could get 15 a game right now. It will be because his story in his mind cannot end with kinks in the armor.
So he'd rather go out on top, you're saying?
Mhm.
Yes.
You don't think he wants to
What
play
you
with
guys
his
think?
son? You don't think he wants to wait a few years to play with his son?
I don't think he'll risk it, AK, because there's already so many asterisks. The 2011 stuff with the Mavericks, the losing record in the finals. He wanted to get to 5 to make it as close as possible.
So
But I
you're
think that
saying
he's gonna
LeBron's
bow out
ego-
gracefully if he realizes.
Yeah.
So you're saying LeBron's ego, it can't take it. Damn.
I don't even think it's that much of an ego anymore, because he really doesn't have any much more to prove.
Right.
But he has some to lose.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna say it like this, man. If he does retire, I'm okay with that. Because I'm sick and tired of ESPN fucking putting him on all the time for no damn reason already.
Yo, bro.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
I guess
Go ahead.
Right.
The worst person off is Anthony Davis, because then people will really critique him.
Oh, yeah, he'll get exposed.
Right.
He'll get exposed. I can't. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of Anthony Davis, bro. Never. I don't know.
Too
There's something
soft,
about
man.
the dude's
Too
game.
soft.
There's
I mean,
something about the dude's game that I never
hell of a
liked.
basketball player.
He's very
He's
talented,
got all the
but
skills.
he's
All
very
of it.
talented.
Yo, he needs some yuca and bacalao. He needs some real. I'm telling you, bro. A Dominican woman or a Colombian woman needs to adopt him and put him on, bro. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, that's
and
what
bring
I'm
him back
talking
with a little more strength. Too soft, man.
I agree.
Yeah, he needs some
I
mango.
agree. I
It's
agree.
something wrong.
All right, yo, we're gonna roll into scores. I'm gonna sit here and I ain't even gonna front. I don't even know who's playing tonight, so I'm gonna pass it off to you guys. Let me know.
No, just throw Steelers and Vikings really quick. Just throw something
Steelers,
out
Vikings.
Steelers.
Oh,
in Minnesota.
Steelers, Vikings.
In Minnesota.
That's why you didn't know.
yeah, Jen,
is your-
Jen, what you got? What's your score?
Okay, I'm going 27-24 Steelers, and there's a reason for this.
Mm-hmm.
Big Ben, we all know he's retiring soon. He's very close to breaking records. He's like, I want to say like 380 yards away from being in the top 5 in passing yards. He's 8 touchdown passes away from breaking another record. And I think at this point, he's just going to go for it at the end of the season. And I'm going with Big Ben on this one.
So he's trying to cement his ticket into the Hall of Fame. Okay, I got you.
Yep.
It's a good
Pablo.
take. It's a good take.
I got.
Pablo, what you got?
Thank you.
I think the Steelers are the one that are favored to win, but I'm going Minnesota, 31-17.
Yeah, at Minnesota, right? At Minnesota.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm going Mini.
Okay.
I think
Dre, what you got?
their offense is
Oh,
pretty
my
good.
bad. Go
too. Their offense I think is good. You know, Dalvin Cook's playing. Even if he struggles, Madison is equally as good. You know, Thielen is out, but they've got, you know, Jefferson. So I think they can still put on a show and beat Pittsburgh.
Did you just say Madison is equally as good as Dalvin Cook?
In terms of when he plays in that offense, yeah. Skill wise, no. But when Madison plays fantasy football, points wise, he comes through.
Cook is a horse. Madison's a goat.
Go ahead. Dre, what's your score?
24-17 Minnesota.
24-17 Minnesota. Go ahead, Javi, what you got?
29.
29.
I got the Steelers 29. And the Vikings.
Come on, man.
Vikings 22.
21.
And Ben Roethlisberger
Every week.
Ben Roethlisberger is gonna rush for a 1-yard touchdown run, bro.
Quarterback sneak.
He's going to fall on his face. Is what he's going to do.
But he's gonna score it though.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
He's going to fall forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 23-20 Minnesota, and I'm gonna just for the viewers' privilege and pleasure, if you are a gambling woman or man, I would pretty much bet the house that TJ Watt's gonna have at least 2 sacks.
Mm.
You look at the talent that Minnesota has at wide receiver, running back, and I would say like a 10 to 16 quarterback in the league. It's the offensive line that's a problem for them. When they don't perform a lot of times, I would bet on the over for TJ Watt sack total.
TJ Watt is an animal.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Do you see his face?
He says Steelers will cover. Maybe even with win. Kirk goes to TD. Fave Adam. Adam is out. They can't win by under 3.5.
His go-to touchdown is.
But Jefferson will just have 200 yards in the first quarter. That's
yeah. Mike, you got a quick score just for the hell of it?
7-0 Vikings. Nah. I didn't get really enough time to even think of. I'm going to go 7-0 Vikings. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
That would be classic.
That wasn't not thinking about it. That was actively choosing to purposefully think the other way on it.
Now, you know what I did? I pulled one of those, like, you ever watch The Price is Right? Where the guy's like, 1,001. He's like, the person before him is like 999. And the next guy's like 1,000 by 1 point. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going under everybody.
You're too hard on yourself. You're like, Mike, you didn't research this, so now you're not going to be allowed to put a decent answer on
He did that $1 bet like he was mentioning.
7-0. That's crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for participating, coming in with your questions and your comments. We're here every Thursday night, leading into the NFL's games, and moving forward, even after that, we'll still be every Thursday night with topics. We go off the beaten path. We grab what the mainstream media is talking about, and we kind of give it our own little shuffle and our own taste on the topic. And we also talk about things that they don't take a deep enough dive into. You know, a lot of the mainstream media is all about LeBron, all about Brady, Cowboys, this, that, that. So what do? We go off the beaten path and we talk about our own thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Sports is My Love Language podcast. And this is your boy Dropping Dimes. And this is my crew. Peace out. Enjoy the game.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.